Hi, I'm Sandy. I'm an alcoholic and an addict.
I don't wanna be the girl that laughs the loudest, or the girl who never wants to be alone. I don't wanna be that call at 4 o'clock in the morning, 'cause I'm the only one you know in the world that won't be home.
Welcome to Inside Addiction. Please welcome our guest today, Sandy, to this show.
Hi, Dean.
Hi, Sandy. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. First, Sandy, I want to commend you on your courage to come out and step out from behind the shadows of shame and break down the stigma of the alcoholic and the addict. Because nowadays, we both know that the addict isn't the junkie with a needle sticking out of his arm in an abandoned building, and the alcoholic's not someone with a brown paper bag, homeless on the street.
Exactly.
It's teachers, police officers, priests, your neighbors, your co-workers, and in your case, nurses.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about yourself, Sandy?
I am a nurse. I've been a nurse for 17 years. I started drinking when I was 19 or so after the death of my father. It helped. It numbed me. I felt better. Slowly started smoking a little pot. I had done some of that in high school, but nothing great, you know. Then as time progressed on, I started having headaches. I went to the emergency room, at which point they gave me some Demerol through an IV and a prescription for Lortab, and I was hooked. That was all it took.
Off to the races.
Yeah, so to speak. And from that point on, and I was in my early 20s at that point, I started drinking more. I went from doctor to doctor. I had my doctor, a neurologist, even my gynecologist. I always had an excuse where I needed pain meds. Trips to the ER that, you know, I didn't really have that headache, but they were always so willing to, oh, she's a nurse, she knows what she's talking about. In most cases, it was the hospital I worked at. They were my coworkers. They would never discount my claims of pain. And it was just medication after medication. And it got to a point slowly where I couldn't live without it. I was physically sick without it. I liked the feeling of being high. I liked that numb feeling. I didn't want to deal with reality at any point. And then it kind of all just snowballed and kept rolling, and the drinking was more. There was the occasional cocaine. There was still smoking pot on the side. And then I started diverting narcotics from work, which is stealing narcotics from the hospital.
How long did it take from the point that your father passed away and you wanted to numb that feeling up to the point that it increased and progressed to the point of diverting?
Oh, probably about 8 or 9 years.
Wow, so it was a slow progress.
I was drinking a lot, and that was enough for me, or the occasional prescription of pills, and I could fight it long enough to where I wouldn't, you know, I was going maybe once every 3 weeks for prescription for pills in the beginning, and then it got to where I just had a constant supply of pills. But then after, you know, a few more years, it got to be where the pills just weren't enough.
Okay. What was your bottom?
I was at work one day, and I went to work, and the assignment list would always be on the desk of, you know, what patients you were going to have, whether you were going to be doing assessments or passing meds, and I was a medication nurse, which I passed all the meds on a surgical floor, and the list said that I was going to be doing the desk, assisting the secretary to do the desk, and I had this sick feeling in my stomach. I knew that the jig was up.
Yeah.
And I saw the head from the pharmacy department up on the floor, and my nurse manager was kind of acting funny to me. And about noontime that day, they called me into the head of all the nursing department into her office, and they confronted me. They said, you know, we've been going through records, and it looks like you're diverting narcotics, and you have two choices. You can own up to it, and you can get help, or you can lose your nursing license and probably go to jail.
How'd you feel right at that point?
Sick. I felt sick. I said, I am not owning up to this.